This video is sponsored by Interact. So you're finally ready to start your career as a full-time content creator. Well, first of all, congrats. That's very exciting and I'm very excited for you. I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. But second of all, as someone who has been making a living as a content creator online for the past several years, I have some tips and advice I wanna share with you. Being a content creator is a more complex business than a lot of people would realize, especially at the beginning. You are gonna be your own manager, your own finance department, your own editor, your own on-screen talent. Like, you're gonna fill all of the different roles, and that is a lot to handle. But don't get overwhelmed just yet, because in this video I want to share with you the steps that I would take if I was starting from scratch and wanting to launch my career as a full-time content creator in 2023. There are a lot of different moving parts to this, and it's definitely going to take a lot of energy and persistence to get this off the ground, but I believe in you, and trust me, it is so worth it. So let's get into it. The first step to turning this whole creator thing into a career is getting crystal clear on your goals. The biggest question that you need to answer that is going to influence your strategy, your content calendar, how you approach this whole business in general is this: is content creating for you a means to an end or the end in itself? I know that might sound really weird and philosophical, but what I'm getting at is, are you trying to be an online business owner with really good content marketing, or are you trying to be an influencer, a content creator? Admittedly, this can be a very fuzzy gray area, and honestly, it's something that I feel like I've kind of struggled to exactly figure out with my own career. Because from the outside, there's a lot of overlap, and you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell by looking at somebody's content which direction they're headed in. But I find it is a very helpful distinction for yourself to know about your own priorities, because it's gonna help you make decisions about your content strategy, about how you spend your time, and about how you measure your success. Let's just quickly talk about the implications of these two potential paths so you can figure out which one's right for you. If you think that content creation for you is the means to an end, i.e. you want to be a business owner who sells something online, and creating content for you is just the way that you're going to generate your leads and get your customers, that might be you if your biggest priority is your paid offerings, whether that is a course, digital products, services, or maybe physical products. This path is going to be right for you if those are the first things that you were thinking about when you're looking at this content creator journey. If you're ultimately thinking about how you want to serve people through your paid services, products, etc., then this might be your route. This would mean that your ultimate goal, if you're following this path, is to make sales. This is a really important distinction to have in your mind, because it allows you to know what metrics to actually care about and what to let go. For example, if you're in this lane and your ultimate goal is to make sales, if your Instagram engagement is kind of low, or maybe you don't have a ton of YouTube subscribers, it doesn't really matter if you're still making sales. The metric that you're going to look at to determine whether you're kind of working towards your goals is how many sales of your paid offering you're making. And then you don't have to stress about the number of likes or TikTok followers you have. Now let's talk about that other path for a second. If content creating for you is the ends in itself, like the reason you're doing this is simply because you love to make content and you want to build an online community, then the influencer or content creator route is right for you. This means you're ultimately going to make money primarily through brand deals, affiliate commission, AdSense, and maybe eventually some other products on the side, but that's probably not going to be your main goal. Over here, the metrics that you're going to be looking at are the engagement rate, the reach that you're getting, because ultimately those metrics are going to determine how successful your business is going to be, because that's going to impact how much AdSense you make, how many brand deals you're able to get. So you can see why this distinction is important to make, because in a world of so many metrics to get caught up in and get stressed out by, it's important to know what lane you're in, so then you can really zero in on the metrics that are actually important for reaching your personal goals. And really what this boils down to is online business owners that are using content marketing as a means to an end, i.e. a way to generate sales, should focus on sales over metrics like follower count or even their engagement rate on their content. If they're making sales, then they don't need to worry about that stuff. Whereas content creators really need to focus on community building over sales. And having this information is going to allow you to craft a strategy that's actually going to help you reach whatever goal you might have. If you really want to go full-time as a content creator this year, then it is very important that you have a strong brand. This is about more than just having a niche. This is about knowing who you are and who who you want to reach with your content. So really try to figure out who your content is for. Who is your target audience? What is their vibe? What other types of creators or media do they connect with? What are their biggest fears and hopes? Having a really clear sense of who you're creating for is going to allow you to create better content that ultimately performs better in the algorithm, because at the end of the day, the algorithm is just a representation of how the audience responds to your content, and having a really clear idea of who you are speaking to directly is going to help you make better videos. I would recommend writing down a few adjectives about the way you would like your future audience to describe you, like what you want to be known for, because that can become the foundation of your brand identity. Once that's in place, you can move on to more of the surface level stuff, like picking out your fonts and colors. I really recommend choosing something that suits your existing style, so it's easy for you to kind of be the personal embodiment of your brand. Hopefully you can see how I've kind of tried to do that with my own branding. Like, my brand colors are just some of my favorite colors that I wear a lot of the time, and I kind of have that color palette reflected in my wardrobe, which means like any outfit I wear would easily be, an outfit that I could put on for a brand photo shoot. And so it just like keeps everything very consistent across all my videos, my Instagram photos, etc. These components are important for building brand recognition, but it's also not something that you want to get too caught up in. I think this is the stage where a lot of beginner content creators can kind of stall out because they get overwhelmed with choice and they really want to make everything perfect, and they want to make sure their fonts and their brand colors exactly reflect them. But at the end of the day, that's not going to be a great use of your time. I think when it comes to your branding, it's way more important that you spend time thinking about who your audience is and how you can connect with them, and then you can just throw together some visuals that do a good job of representing you. But I wouldn't get caught up in this, because it's much more important that you move on to the next step. Every creator is going to have one or two platforms at the most that are their main focus. It's just impossible to be everywhere all at once. And the reality is your audience isn't everywhere all at once, so it would really be wasted effort to try to have a comprehensive strategy across every social media platform, because the people that you're trying to reach most likely primarily hang out on one or two. So I really like to suggest to content creators to choose two platforms, one from each main category. So pick one evergreen platform and one timely platform to really put your energy into. Evergreen platforms are places where you can put your content and people keep finding it through organic methods like search or recommendations algorithms over time. So that's stuff like YouTube, podcasting, blogging, to some extent TikTok. Whereas timely platforms are places where communities are built on like a daily basis. People are checking that app multiple times a day, consuming bite sizes of content, and they're kind of keeping up with what you're doing on a more day-to-day basis. So this is stuff like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and again, to some extent, TikTok. This kind of weird overlap area, by the way, is why TikTok can be such a like magic audience building machine, because you can, access people in both these main ways. But that aside, it's important that you kind of focus your energy into just a couple of places so that you can make sure you do the best job possible at crafting a content strategy that's going to work on that platform. I think a lot of people get wrapped up in repurposing to be on every single website, and it's not that helpful. For example, for me, I have like never posted any content on LinkedIn. I haven't made a tweet in probably like 2 years, and that's okay with me, because I'm not really trying to reach people there. I'm trying to reach people on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and also with my podcast. And with that being said, you don't have to limit yourself to just two forever, but I do think it's important to get yourself settled with two, prove to yourself that you can be consistent in two places before you overwhelm yourself by going everywhere. So once I was consistent with YouTube and Instagram, then I branched out to a podcast, then I branched out to TikTok. Now, another really significant platform that I think a lot of content creators are sleeping on, but they really shouldn't, especially if you want to go full time and actually turn this into a sustainable business, is email marketing. I know that might surprise you, because obviously it's not a social media platform, but it is a hugely significant part of a successful creator business. I think more and more social media is crowded. It's hard to reach your people. So if you can actually end up in the inbox of one of your followers, you're gonna have so much more influence, so much more ability to connect with them in a kind of like intimate and authentic way. And in terms of conversion rates and actually making sales, email marketing is just, it blows social media out of the water. And a really cool and creative way to actually start building your email list that I wanted to tell you about is Interact. Interact is actually the sponsor of today's video, and Interact is this really cool interactive quiz builder that helps you generate leads and, if your business, sell products. I feel like a lot of us are familiar with the traditional lead magnets that a lot of people use to grow their email list, like maybe a free ebook or a little downloadable file, and that's all fine and good, but I do think that's starting to get a little bit same old, same old. That's why Interact is so cool, because you can actually create an interactive quiz that people can take, and then in order to get their results, they can sign up for your email list. This can not only be an awesome way to provide value to your followers, but it's also a little bit of market research for you. You can learn more about your new email list subscriber, and then it also helps you figure out how you can serve them better through your email content. According to Interact's research, Interact quizzes average a 40% conversion rate compared to just 1% with more traditional lead magnets. Plus, segmented campaigns can lead to a huge increase on your return on investment, according to Interact, over 760%. Because using a quiz allows you to segment your leads based on their quiz results, so you know more about them and what they're most interested in, which means you can send them the right info, and that helps you increase your sales. For example, you can take my quiz, What's My Content Creator Personality Type? Not only is it fun and reflective, but at the end you'll also get a result that will help guide you on your creator journey. Plus, you'll be added to my awesome weekly newsletter, the Creator Letter. So if you want to create your own quiz lead magnet using Interact and start building up that email list, then sign up for Interact using the link in my description. Okay, now that you've chosen the platforms that you're going to focus on, the next step is to just start posting. And I think at the beginning, it's important that you post consistently. If you want this to turn into your job, you kind of need to start treating it like a job. Post often, take note of the feedback that you get from your audience via your analytics and also via what they're telling you in the comments, and follow the algorithm's lead, but also make sure to follow your own inspiration. The quickest way to grow is to kind of throw spaghetti at the wall at the beginning, see what sticks, and then just replicate it over and over again. But that's not necessarily the most creatively fulfilling. And so it can be a really tough balance, because for a lot of us creators, we do want to grow, and it's obviously satisfying to see that growth happen sooner rather than later. But chances are you also started creating because you have a certain topic or style of content in mind that you really want to do. And if that's not the topic or style of content that the algorithm happens to pick up, then you've got yourself a really difficult decision. And so I think this is kind of a valid crossroads if you ever do find yourself in this place, to decide what matters more to you, kind of sticking to your artistic guns and posting the same kind of stuff that you started for, or turning this into a real business and kind of following the algorithm's lead and posting more of what the people want. That's a decision that you can only make for yourself. But I do think one way to avoid that really difficult fork in the road is to try to only post content that you do really feel passionate about and that you would be happy to, keep talking about in the future. And at the end of the day, in my experience, the videos that I'm most passionate and most excited about are the ones that end up performing the best. So I think that energy comes across, and I think that for a lot of us, there's enough overlap between our own curiosity and our own passion with our audience's curiosity and passion. So if you're really curious about something and you're really intrigued and you want to research it, talk about it, share it with your audience, chances are they will feel the same way. But if you're just kind of putting out stuff that you think will do well based on your research, like, it might not hit the same way. That being said, it's very difficult to come up with consistent ideas that are always like where your curiosity is taking you. So I think ultimately that's where there is a balance, because you need to be consistent, and it's great to be consistent with formats that are sort of tried and true that you think will do well, and then also leaving yourself enough energy and creativity and time to follow that curiosity and make some videos that you're really passionate about, because chances are, well, first of all, you will have more fun making those, but chances are the algorithm might pick it up because people that are watching it can connect with how passionate you are. But really, the main point of this section is just to tell you, start creating. Stop making excuses. Stop putting it off. Stop worrying about what people are going to think. If you want to do this, you want to do this. So just start posting. As a creator, there are many income streams that you can incorporate as part of your business. So if you create on YouTube or have a blog, AdSense is a big one, affiliate commission, brand deals, and eventually you maybe would want to release your own digital products or something like that. Here's my advice when it comes to starting to make money and actually turn this creator thing into a full-time creator thing. I would recommend recommend slowly building out your income streams. Again, I think this is kind of like trying to post everywhere and be everywhere. You can't make money in a million different ways completely from the start. I think it's good to perfect your strategy in one area and then start to expand. So with that in mind, this is the process I would take. So start with affiliate marketing right from the jump. This is something that you can do no matter how many followers you have or how many views you're currently getting. Sign up for affiliate programs for software or products that you already use and love. And of course, some good go-tos are like signing up for Amazon affiliates and also getting a reward style account. Then from the beginning, especially with content on that evergreen platform you chose, make sure you include links to anything that you talk about or mention in your content. This is important because this content is going to be continually found by people over the upcoming months and years via search or recommendations. And so you want those affiliate links to be there, because imagine this, in a couple months from now, you might not see it coming, but maybe one of your YouTube videos blows up, and if you happen to have affiliate links for the stuff that you mentioned in that YouTube video in the description, you might start to see some affiliate revenue come in. That's why it's so important to do this from the beginning, so you've kind of got all of your bases covered, and then if any of your content happens to blow up, you've got some way to monetize it already built in. Okay, so once you're feeling confident with your affiliate marketing, affiliate links kind of strategy, that's when you can start to expand into other areas. Chances are the next thing that will get checked off your list is AdSense. Eventually, once you've been posting to YouTube often enough, you can build up 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. You can start to see that AdSense trickle in, or if you have a blog, you can, put Google ads on it. The nice thing about AdSense is once you get it enabled and once you get signed up, there's not much more for you to do. You can kind of just let it go and start to see that money come in very slowly, and like it builds up over time, of course. Once you've got those stages covered, you might start thinking about getting brand deals. I've made a whole video about how I was able to bring in over $60,000 in brand deal revenue in 2022, so make sure you go check that out. I'll link it up here. But to give you a general overview, probably at the start you might find yourself doing a little bit of pitching and reaching out to brands, and eventually brands will start coming to you if you make yourself discoverable to them and you have a really strong brand yourself and a clear audience that you're reaching. And finally, once you've got all of those boxes checked, you might consider launching merch to sell to your audience or creating your own digital products. Like for example, I sell Notion templates and Lightroom presets. This last one's really going to depend on the type of creator you are and who your audience is. So that's why I think it's kind of a good final stage, because it gives you a chance to really get to know the people that are consuming your content and figure out a good way you could provide value to them through a paid product. Once you go through all of these steps, I really feel like it all comes down to patience and consistency. To find out just how much those two factors really matter, then you might want to watch my personal story of how I became a full-time content creator after many, many years of struggle and disappointment posting on YouTube. So check out that video next. Hopefully it'll give you some insight into what your journey might look like and give you a little bit of encouragement. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.